the defense. Oh, I don't think we have enough time. Kevin Bowen, our Wish TV Colts Insider, thank you for joining us for this weekly segment we do here on Wish TV. 38-27. When you look at the Colts point total, 27, right, you can feel positive.
Sure.
So you look at the other side and see 38. Third straight week, the Colts defense has allowed 30 or more points. Fourth time this entire season. Kev, what are your initial thoughts on this whole loss from Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, it boils so much down to Gus Bradley and that defense. I thought it was the worst defensive effort of the season by the Colts. And you mentioned those big point totals even in recent weeks. The outlier in that, Angela, is you had some offensive turnovers contributing to those big point totals. For the most part, your offense did a nice job of protecting the football yesterday. The Saints just drove up and down the field. So many big plays given up by that defense. And I thought so much of it boiled down to, honestly, your defensive line. And why I point there first is because that's the group you're highly invested in. Cornerback is not. And so when your defensive line only hits Derek Carr twice in a game, you're going to allow him to get into a great rhythm, and he had one of the best games of his career yesterday.
You might be the only person in Indiana blaming the defensive line and not the cornerbacks. Overall, the secondary was getting torched by this Saints offense. Over 350 yards in the air for the Saints offense yesterday. Kevin, the quarterbacks struggled. Tony Brown specifically struggled. How do you fix this moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, you got to hope, first off, that Juju Brent's a second-round pick from Warren Central, that he gets back in the lineup as quick as possible, because internally I just don't know how they go about fixing it. And again, I want to go back to what I said about the defensive line, Angela. Again, that's the group of a bunch of first-round picks. That's the group you paid a lot of money and you made a big trade for DeForest Buckner. We knew this could happen at cornerback this season. Chris Ballard was all in on the youth movement at corner. It's very head-scratching to me that Tony Brown was the guy that they went with yesterday as the outside corner. Clearly, the Saints said, wow, he's out there. Let's make sure that we pepper him on a consistent basis. They did that up and down the field. You saw a missed tackle from him right there. And then the icing on the cake, the 3rd and 13, that pretty much sealed this victory. So, again, until Juju Brents gets back in the lineup, which he's got a quad injury right now, I don't know if there is an easy fix internally.
Colts are banking so much on a rookie second-round draft pick in Juju Brents, though. How much is General Manager Chris Ballard to blame here that he did buy into this youth movement, and now it's not paying out when you don't have experience or depth? Two things that you need at cornerback for this Colts team.
Yeah, and I go back to earlier this year, Angela, when Stephon Gilmore, one of your best players from last season and a very accomplished pro at cornerback, came to the Colts and said, I don't think you guys are going to be very good this coming season. I don't want to be here anymore. And that's just the harsh reality of this 2023 season, is when internally players on your own roster see the writing on the wall and they say, I'm 31, 32 years old. I still have good football left in me. I don't want to play for a rebuilding team. And that's just frankly where the Colts are in 2023. And again, Chris Ballard was all in on this youth movement pretty much after that. They've had several different points throughout the offseason where they could have added at the cornerback position, and they chose not to. So seeing the result like we saw yesterday is not the most shocking thing in the world, because when you commit to youth at a spot like that and you face a veteran quarterback and you don't get a pass rush going, that stuff can happen.
Yeah. Kevin, quickly, Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss split snaps, but Jonathan Taylor had 94 yards on the ground in the first half, got one touch in the second half. What should the Colts do moving forward at this running back position?
Yeah, super puzzling. I mean, yesterday, you're seeing it right here. One of the best first quarters of Jonathan Taylor's career, and then just really an abandonment by Shane Steichen from then on. And it's not like, Angela, you had some potent passing attack, or it's not like you were continuing to put up the amount of points that you did early in the game. You're paying Jonathan Taylor $42 million over the next 3 years not to have one carry and a half of football. And I just thought in general they went away from the run game. And you know, you got plays like this here by Zach Moss in the third quarter. I mean, those are big time, you know, kind of body blow plays. We know the Saints, they were dealing with a bunch of illnesses during the week. I thought if you could establish the run, what you could do to them in the second half would be great for the run game, and we just did not see that at all. Very, very head-scratching from Shane Steichen.
Yeah, Taylor had no problem about the play calling, at least in the locker room post-game. We'll see what he said in his head. Kevin Bowen, our Colts Insider, thank you so much for joining us. We'll have much more on the Colts coming up at 6. We'll see you then.